I will be uploading the rest of Galatians after this video, but I wanted to share this dream chart with you guys. This is a dream chart that I made that basically is just more like of an organized way of helping me interpret my dreams. And y'all know I use a lot of different gel pens, so that could be something that y'all could do. I don't know if guys would be interested in that. But sisters in the Lord, you can use different color ballpoint pens or gel, whatever you want to use. And these colors here, basically it's just glitter versus like regular color. Don't worry about that. I'm just extra. These represent scenes. When you have a dream from the Lord, when you have dreams, write every single dream down and write as much detail as you can possibly remember about that dream. Do not ever in your ever life leave out any detail in a dream. I don't care if you feel like it could be easily discarded. You don't know what that little part meant, so you just leave it out. Do not ever leave it out. I have dreams like that all the time, and the Lord himself has told me in the dream that some things in dreams are meant to be unveiled in a later season. So he's not going to reveal it to you just yet what that meant. Write it down anyway. So when you write down your dreams, if you can, I don't know how y'all write. I'm very organized when I write. One of the classes I was really good in was English, so I still write in paragraphs and everything, insertions, all that. When you write your dreams down, try to separate the scenes in paragraphs as you're writing, because it's going to help you label your scenes. So let's say, for example, the beginning of your dream dealt with your bedroom, an activity that was taking place in your bedroom, and then from that point on it transitioned into, maybe it turned into a different scene in the dream, or maybe another room. The point is the scene changed. So what you want to do with labels is you want to focus on what was happening in that first scene. Don't just jumble the whole dream together, because you're going to have a hard time trying to interpret it. It's best if you dissect it and split the scenes up. So what I do is these little labels right here that I made, I literally color it. When I'm writing the dream down, scene 1, red would be like right here for scene 1. And let's say scene 2 started like right here. This would be orange. Basically, that's simple. This is why it says scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. These are all the colors I use. You're not going to have more than maybe 11 scenes in a dream. If you do, I mean, God bless you. See, I don't really have that many colors. Sometimes I go down to 12, but not all the time. So this is what these boxes are for. Now, the reason why I have warning, demonic spirits and stuff like that, I actually use stickers now. I don't really color anymore. I would just use the same color chart, and I would put it like at the top, depending on what kind of dream it was about. So let's say your dream was the Lord warning you about a certain familiar spirit trying to come back, and it's a warning dream. Not only is this just used for labels to label scenes, but I would put like red at the corner, so when I'm flipping through my binder, I know what kind of dream that was. This was a dream about demonic spirits. So that would be the same for the rest of the colors. Orange is just an important alert, something the Lord probably wants you to pay attention to, not necessarily a warning, but important. So orange. Yellow is just like positivity, good dream. I didn't write anything there because yellow is just so free. Green, I consider to be dreams where the Lord is giving you prophetic insight, or exposing somebody to you, or exposing something to you. Basically, him showing you something in the spirit that he knows. So he's giving you insight, whether it's about somebody or something, whether it's soon to come, right now, whatever. That would be green. Seer. I don't know why I put green for seer. I just think of green when I think of the Lord giving you insight. So you can color green in the corner. Blue, I put vivid vision. Those are the dreams that are probably actual encounters that you are having in the spirit. You just don't know it, and they feel very, very realistic. So there's many different kinds of dreams. So for those kind of dreams that y'all have, you can just put like blue. Like this dream was a very vivid one. So purple, prophetic. It's a prophetic dream, something that's foretelling. The Lord is foreshadowing something to you that's going to happen. Blase, blase, whether it's good or bad. Pink, why did I put out of body observing for that? That's not pink. Out of body observing. Well, I guess probably because I don't use it. Don't use that. Basically that just means, you know how you have those dreams or those scenes in the dreams where it's like the Lord has you more so observing than actually engaging in the dream, and then maybe you'll probably start engaging a little bit later in the dream. That's what that means. So these are for the dreams where I was there and I was watching what was happening and I was kind of in the background, but I wasn't really a part of it, you know, pink, basically. Okay, so these are my favorite. Okay, this is a little earth that I made, basically, water and earth, okay? It says natural. This represents natural, plain, surface layer. Actual people, merely letter. This symbol that you will also write on the side of your paper as you're labeling and writing down your dream. When you're doing your dream interpretation, don't write it on your dream. When you start writing your dream interpretation, which you will also label according to the labels on your dream scene, this is going to be for your dream interpretation. So what you want to do with these three right here, what I made this for, and the Lord taught me this himself. Each of your dreams have many different layers. They're going to mean many different things. If not always, for the most part, most of your dreams will have a natural, simple, obvious interpretation. That'll be you waking up from it, you automatically probably figuring out what it meant. But it always has a more deeper layer and insight of what the Lord wants you to dig into. So naturally, is you writing down the dream, you're going over it, and you're writing down the basic, merely letter of what was shown to you. Making the vision really, really plain. Like, okay, I was shown this about my mom or so-and-so. I know they don't like me. They stole my money in the dream. Okay, so God's clearly showing you don't trust this person. They're either going to steal your money or you're just an untrustworthy individual. That's like surface layer stuff. You didn't even get into the deep spiritual meaty interpretation yet. That's what this is for. It also represents actual people. Because in your dreams, sometimes the Lord will use those people to represent spirits. They're not always the people themselves. Or God could be exposing to you the actual person, literally themselves. Or it could be both, which is what that is for, but we're not there yet. So your dream could mean every single last one of those things. But to help you better dissect and interpret it without being all over the place, focus on one layer at a time. So go over your dream one time and just write down the simple interpretation of what it could mean if you were to just look at the people themselves. Don't even get into the, okay, they could possibly be a spirit. We're not on that yet. Let's just focus on who you saw in the dream, what were they doing, according to the people alone that God put in that dream. Interpret it based on that. So that's just straight letter. What you read on the surface, what you would conclude just reading it. Okay. Now this symbol right here is brown, orange, and red. I forgot what they call that symbol, but basically intertwining the spirit and the natural. So brown would obviously be the natural. That's the human flesh, the vehicle. Orange would be mixing. It's the spiritual. Both parties basically. And red would be the spirit itself, the demon. Says interchangeable, spirit and the actual person. When you're writing your dream interpretation down, if you so happen to just start writing while you're interpreting and the Holy Spirit start flowing while you're interpreting your dream, it could happen that you kind of go back and forth about the character that was shown in your dream and how they are representative of that demonic spirit and the person as well. So that's kind of what that's mostly for. Even though, the natural person and the demons, they all have their own layer. I have dreams like that where I'm interpreting them and they are always interchangeable. Like I'll say something like, oh, okay, well, my mom was doing this in the dream and she was here with me in the house while I was under oppression. In a literal sense, that could actually be true. It's going to play out that way. But in a spiritual sense, if I wanted to use both my mom, I'm just using her as an example, sorry. I'm really not trying to be shady, I promise. I'm just saying, if I were to use her and the Jezebel spirit together, because the Lord's not only trying to show me her alone. If he was just trying to show me her alone, I wouldn't have a reason to use this because he's not talking about the spirit, he's talking about her. But if he's talking about her and the spirit, and he's trying to show me between two different layers how, yes, I'm exposing her, but I'm also exposing this spirit, which is the main culprit, but the spirit is using her because she's yielded to it. That's what that symbol is for. So you're focusing on two different layers right there, the spirit and the person. Both parties are important. The Lord wants you to focus on both things, okay? Don't get blinded by the vessel because they're being used, but don't get so blinded. Don't get so focused on the spirit alone to where you're naive with the vessel because the spirit's using the vessel, okay? They're using the person that God is exposing to you in that dream. That's what that's for. This, obviously, the little explanation mark is for the demon alone. Let's say God's not talking about people. Let's say he just put the person in there to represent a spirit. Probably has nothing to do with the person at all. That's what that's for. So we're just talking about the demon. It's something God wants to show you specifically about the demon and what the spirit is doing. So I called that spiritual, spirits, or the spirit realm, or the spirit machinery, the reality that's going on behind the scenes. The behind the scenes would be behind the natural. So this is us looking a little bit deeper into the dream, past just the surface layer. And let's try to interpret what this may mean on a spiritual template, basically. These are my 3 favorite things to use, and trust me, I think it's a lot more, to be honest with you. I think it's a lot of different layers that God puts in dreams, but this is what helps me so far as a chart. So just so you won't be scattered all over the place, don't try to interpret your dream all at once. Like, don't try to jumble, okay, she was a spirit and, you know, it was the natural person. Okay, this is like, no, don't do all of that, okay? Focus on one thing at a time. If you want to just focus one day on interpreting that dream from a natural perspective, just the people, do that. And then you can start a whole new sheet, and then you can start interpreting that same dream from a more spiritual perspective. Because God may be trying to reveal to you each thing. Honestly, the interpretation could be all those things. So he may want you to catch all of it. The person, the spirit, and how they're being used, and what the spirit's trying to do through the person. Okay, so you can just be basically have a heads up period. And this I was supposed to make one for prophetic, which I think is why I put purple up here, prophetic foretelling. Basically, there's a prophetic layer as well, and it's not up here. It's supposed to be under here. Purple, I would just write. You see how this is scribbled right here? This is like a teal color. Purple scribbled, I should have put down here somewhere, but purple is basically, there's also a prophetic layer to your dreams. So everything that God is showing you in your dream could both be something he wants you to focus on in a natural sense and a spiritual sense, and how those people may be being used by a spirit all in that same dream. But there also sometimes could be a prophetic element in that dream, meaning that it could be God showing you something for now and a warning for now, but it could also be something hidden in there to where it's for a later time as well. So you can also interpret that same dream from a more prophetic perspective if you feel like that element is in there too, but I didn't put that on the chart for whatever reason. That's just a baby pink for scene 8. This, I made like a midnight sky. It's like blue and purple with golden metallic. That's my stars. I put dream within a dream, or double confirmation. Basically, the first one is self-explanatory. And yes, I do draw this on the side of whatever scene I felt like. If I fell asleep within that dream, or I was having 2 dreams within that same dream, I'll put that on the side, and that'll help me kind of focus on that one scene, because it was something about that particular scene. There's a reason why the Lord did that. Double dreams and stuff, or double confirmation, where the Lord kind of locks you into a dream. It feels like you're in a different dimension a little bit, because he really wants to firmly embed or confirm to you that this is true. I've had those experiences, and those kinds, you can't tell it's a dream. It literally feels like he has you experiencing it like in real life, just to have you believe what he's showing you. That's why I put double confirmation, stuff like that. That's what that means. Dream within a dream, or vision within a vision, or any type of things like that going on. I didn't draw this one yet, I'm sorry. It says Tale of Events, Prophetic Timeline. And basically how that looks, I just draw a little box, and I put like diagonal lines, and I color it like green, blue, gold, purple. Basically colors I thought would match a timeline. And what that means is, tale of events, you may not have noticed it, but your dream could have been God showing you something past, present, and future, something that already happened, something that you could be experiencing now in this season, and a prophetic element that's all in that dream together as one. You probably didn't understand the dream because you didn't know that God was showing you a timeline in that dream alone. So he's actually giving you a signpost to go by to when you can expect certain things to happen or certain prophecies to manifest. I would put that on the side if you felt like a part of your dream could have been a timeline or the whole dream. Okay. Scene 9 is just silver. Okay, those are colors, brown, gold. Oh, okay, so I did put prophetic right here. Oh, okay. It was supposed to be up here, but I put it down here. Yeah, so prophetic layers or sovereign purposes behind the scene. And I skipped this part. This is just a teal ink. I just scribbled it when writing about templates. And templates are basically all the conclusions, different conclusions that you can draw from one scene in the dream, which means that, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually how you actually exercise your discernment when interpreting your dreams, because always ask the Holy Spirit to reveal to you, to give you interpretation, and to give you understanding about your dream when you are writing it. But because the Lord is always revealing like 100 things to you in one setting or one scene, your dream is not always going to mean one thing, which is why we have these up here. There's different layers. So basically, this is just different templates. And I just write about different templates in teal so that I can know these are just different conclusions that I drew from this one scene or this one thing that happened in the dream. And it could mean 5 different things. And I'll write those 5 different things down, basically. And this little thingy right here is an eye. I use 2 eyes now because it just kind of looked like the all-seeing eye, although I didn't mean for it to look that way. I just put an eye because these are for prophetic insight, insertion clips, multi-layer or dimensional projections in your dreams. And insertion clips, I named this, by the way. It's kind of like when you're having a dream and there's activity taking place, but then all of a sudden the scene changes into a more magnified version of what's going on, or a new scene. The Lord just kind of projects a new scene in there in the dream, and then it goes back to what you were originally doing. I call those insertion clips. That's something that the Lord really wants you to focus on because he highlighted it. Like let's say, for example, y'all dream about me in scene 1. So scene 1, Red, Brandy was here, we were talking, and she was talking to me about something she was dealing with, and then all of a sudden the scene changed to Brandy crying, and she was crying hysterically. That would be an insertion clip, because that had nothing to do with the original layer that God was showing you. He put a second layer in to show you, because it's something about her crying that he really wants to reveal to you. And then he pulls that out, and then y'all go back to the regular scene, or it jumps to a new one. That's an insertion clip. It's like a vision, sort of. Not really a vision within a vision, but he just kind of projects it and then he pulls it back. Multi-layer or dimensional dreams, or dimensional projections. Projections are, they're similar to insertion clips. Insertion clips are more like, okay, some of y'all probably do videos and stuff. Let's say like some of y'all like do video production. You know how you can just take a clip from one video and put it in another video? See it like that. See it like the Lord gave you a dream, but he took one clip of something else and just kind of put it in there because he wanted you to focus on that, and then the dream just continues regularly. That would be an insertion clip. So just picture somebody inserting a whole different video in a new one. Dimensional projections are, I've had them. I'm just trying to use an example without being too personal. Let me see. See it as like a magnifying glass, which hence the eyes in it, because it's the same color as the dream within a dream. So they're similar, not the same thing. See it as like something in your dream the Lord would zoom in on that may seem like it was a different scene, but it really wasn't. It kind of was like a magnifying glass type of situation. Then he pulls it back out. Or let's say like you're on the phone like with your friend in the dream, and then like while y'all are on the phone, she automatically ends up or suddenly ends up in your house weirdly. So she's just like projected randomly in your house as y'all are on the phone, but then it goes back to y'all just being on the phone. She's not there anymore. That's a dimensional projection. That means something. God did that for a reason. Whatever it was, you need to ask him about it. There's a reason why he just decided to randomly project this person into that scene when he really didn't have to, because y'all were already on the phone. So what did that mean? Why did he just put her there, you know? Multi-layer. I must have not had one in a while. I'm sorry. I can't think of what multi-layer meant. It probably just a different term that I use for a dimensional projection. I probably just titled it multi-layer. Anyway, so that's the dream chart. This will help you a lot. And if you're a man, of course you don't have to use all the prettyful colors. You can just put scene 1, scene 2 on the side. You don't have to be as creative as I was. But it'll help you if you have at least some type of guideline with your dreams. It'll help you interpret. This up here, it's just a reminder when I'm interpreting dreams so I don't forget, so I can get as much as God is trying to reveal to me through that dream. So this is kind of like another little chart, and just a reminder. So number 1 would be do scene labels. So remember to do your scene labels, which would be these. I don't ever forget that because I like to color. Number 2, examine your guidelines, which are over here. I think I already shared these with y'all. Examine your guidelines when interpreting each scene of your dream. And I'm going to read them to you. Number 1, dreams are very cryptic and symbolic in nature, and we must be careful to know when to take an element literally and when to see it as a representative of something else. So basically, number 1 on that dream guideline would be what I just pretty much gave y'all right here. All they're saying is when you had that, or when you had that part of the dream or experienced that part of the dream, don't always be quick to take it literal, which would be, this would be the literal they were talking about. Sometimes they could be cryptic or symbolic. So it could be symbolic of a spirit. It could be symbolic of, I need to put another thing on here for symbolism, which I use green ink for a symbolic. It could be symbolic of another class of people, may not be the actual person. That's all they're telling you. So they just told you what I just told you, basically. Your dreams have different layers. Even secular people understand that much. It doesn't just mean one thing. So, number 2, individuals can sometimes represent types and figures, which are symbols, as well as other people rather than themselves. They could be representing a certain type or class of person to embody the overall person or message at hand God is trying to reveal to you. God will often use a person you have strong opinions of or you're familiar with for you to understand the symbol personally. So, just to be goofy, let's say you've been praying for a wife and you ask the Lord to give you some type of insight on what your wife is going to be like, and he gives you a dream about somebody that you know and that you're familiar with because you watch her YouTube channel all the time, and it's Sister Brandy. She's gorgeous, she's anointed and amazing, okay? And I don't know, he's not actually talking about me. Somebody who's naive and who does not understand dream interpretation would have that dream and then come to my YouTube channel and say, Sister Brandy, God told me that you're my wife. And I'm like, no, he probably was trying to show you that your wife is probably similar to me a little bit, or this is an idea of what you could expect your wife to be like, because Brandy represented a symbol and a type of class of the kind of woman that I'm sending you, but it's not her. That's an example of that. Number 3, what were you doing in the dream? Write that down. It's very important because a lot of times we have dreams like, yeah, and then I kissed him, but I don't really know why I kissed him. The dream was just weird. I almost just threw it away. Okay, but what you was kissing him for? Write that down. God's trying to show you something. Why were you kissing that person? There's maybe a perverted element there. Maybe something he's trying to show you that you need to clean your heart out about, or maybe that was your spouse. We need to write this stuff down, or maybe it was a spirit spouse. Don't ignore what you was doing in the dream. I know sometimes it's cringy because I don't like writing it down all the time either. Write down what you were doing. It's going to make sense of the context of that scene and what God was trying to show you. Were you happy in the scene? Were you sad? Were you just kind of displaced? So it's not so much what you were doing action-wise. What would you say that your placement was in that particular scene? What were you doing while all that activity was taken on with those other people? Maybe, that's the part of the message that God's trying to show you. For example, let's say that you dreamt you were in school, and in real life, you probably have, I don't know, y'all have some event coming up in school. God gives you a dream. The event is happening in the dream. Everybody's socializing, partying up, having fun, comfortable, and you're like off in the corner somewhere. And you wake up from the dream like, oh, that was freaking weird. What does that mean? Well, what were you doing in the dream? Well, I was sitting in the corner. Why were you sitting in the corner of the dream? well, I'm secretly shy. I kind of struggle with timidity. Okay, so that's what the Lord is showing you. So let's say the end result of the dream was you failed miserably at getting some prize that you were supposed to get. So the message in that dream would be, because of isolation, or you isolated yourself, or because of rejection or fear of socializing or whatever that may have been, it's going to cause you to lose your blessing. Look how everybody else was responding in the dream, and what were you doing? Off in the corner somewhere. God does not want you to do that, okay? So he wants you to focus on what you were doing in that scene. Maybe he's trying to reveal something to you about yourself that you could have been praying about. You may come out of that dream with some answers. Number 4, what was your initial impression and feeling in the dream? Very important. Very important. How did that dream make you feel? How did you feel when they said that to you? How did you feel when that friend that God was trying to expose to you in that dream made that comment to you? A lot of us have dreams like that. God's trying to show us about people. And I used to be ignorant years ago because I didn't know what the dreams meant. But after I started learning that he was trying to expose some folk, I started taking those dreams a lot more seriously. How did you feel when you sat across the table from that girl that you talked to at school every day and she rolled her eyes at you in the dream? He's trying to show you something. She don't care about you like that. Take that to heart. So pay attention to how it made you feel. Number 5. What was your initial impression and feeling upon awaking from the dream? That will determine whether it was a good dream, an omen, a warning, encouragement, or the Lord telling you ain't nothing you really got to worry about, things like that. Always interpret the dream within the overall context of the emotion you felt upon waking. Were you afraid, excited, frustrated, angry, happy? Number 6, there aren't always universal standard meanings for symbols in dreams. We each have our own unique dream vocabulary and dictionary of symbols that God delivers to us that relate to us personally. For example, all they're saying is, let's say you dreamt about fire. There's not one standard meaning for what fire could mean. Fire could mean 100 different things. Basically, go to the Holy Spirit about what that may mean for you and why he showed it to you. Number 7, dreams often exaggerate emotions, qualities, and situations to get a particular message across to you. This does not mean that you have that quality or will experience that situation to the intensity you experience within the dream. I have a perfect example of that. I have a lot of prophetic dreams from the Lord, so I always made the mistake of, let's say if like God's exposing somebody to you, maybe to guard your heart with a certain individual, but like in the dream, they're extremely like horrible. Let's say like the Lord just stretches it so much to the point where you're like, man, this person's really freaking wicked. Like stay away from them. Now that could very well be the message and what God wants you to do. But what they're basically saying is God probably dramatized it in the dream just so you could get the gist of how severe and untrustworthy that person may be. When you're around them, it may not even be nothing like that. I experienced that recently. I have one particular relative that God is always making me very leery of in my dreams. He even uses her to represent the Jezebel spirit. And in my dreams, she's always reckless. She's always chaotic. It's always something bad. But when I'm around her in the natural, she's nothing like that. She's just simple, whoever she is. So that's when I kind of came to the conclusion. I was like, okay, so maybe the Lord just kind of showed her that way. And that could mean several different things. That could mean she may not be like that in the natural, but I'm showing you how destructive she could be had you actually yielded yourself to her and embraced her and let her in and didn't guard your heart. Or maybe there's a spirit in her or a spirit that she's yielded to in her life that could be that destructive. Although you don't see that with her in real life, I'm showing you this in the spirit in the dream. So trust what I show you. So I noticed that God does that a lot, and I used to get intimidated by my dreams, and it kind of used to stir up hatred in my heart for some people because of how bad he would show them to me. So I'm just like, okay, like, do I just not talk to him, But he's probably just, you gotta remember, the Lord sees people's hearts. He shows you about people's hearts with they would never ever allow you to see. If somebody's your enemy, they're not really your friend. They don't really care for you like that. They don't really like you, but they want to smile on your face and just play the part. God's going to give you a dream and show you that person's true heart concerning you. In the dream, it may seem so dramatized to the point where it makes you uncomfortable in the dream. Now, when you're around them in real life, you may not actually feel that level of discomfort, but he kind of dramatized it in the dream just so you could understand how much that person really doesn't have a regard for you like that. So he wants you to feel what you felt in that dream, but you may not feel it as intensely in real life, basically. So, or you could. I mean, hey, it could pan out like that. For the most part, he exaggerates it just so you can get the message. He wants to get the message across. So let's say like somebody's like madly in love with you, and you have a friend, and they're always crushing on you, and you're like, God, I don't really know what to do about this friend. Am I just tripping, Lord? Like, could you show me something? You know, he's always making flirtatious comments towards me. And you have a dream where you and this friend are walking down the sidewalk, and he grabs your hand, and when he grabs your hand, you feel this intense love just go up your arm, and it just completely fills your whole body. And the Lord allows you to feel how that friend of yours feels about you. Now, when you're hanging out with him in real life, you may not actually feel that at all, but you ask the Lord to reveal to you, how does he feel about me? And the Lord did it. He exposed his heart to you. Things like that. Okay, number 8. What were the major contents in the dream? What was the main activity that was taking place? Things that you noticed. Main things that was going on. Was it a party? People gossiping? People, you know, whatever. Number 9, what were the major symbols? Things that were in the dream that you probably didn't know why they were there, or certain things that somebody did that didn't make any sense. Like example, I had a dream where the main activity that was taking place in the dream, I understood perfectly, but there would be like random parts, like there was a cat there with a weird name that I remember from the dream, or there was orange liquid spilled on the floor. Things like that that you wouldn't put in the dream because you think it doesn't mean anything. It means something. Trust me. It means something. The Holy Spirit will bust that open to you in the appointed time. He will reveal that to you. So write down simple symbols like that. Like he was in a black car, but then his car turned red. I don't know why the vehicles were changing throughout the dream, or the people were shape-shifting, kept turning into different people, but you still recognize it as the same person. Witness-wise, you still knew it was the same person, but their appearance kept changing. Those are symbols. Write all this stuff down. And write it down and ask the Lord to reveal it to you. Number 10. What things or people stood out to you or were important to you? 11. Or who or what relatively stood out? Any familiar faces or places? Was it your old residence? Was it your old school, old house, your aunt, your grandma who died? All these things mean something. God used it for a reason. Number 12. What colors did you see? I haven't learned about colors yet. So far, I know that like red, maroon, dark colors mean witchcraft in my dreams for the most part, or some witchcraft has taken place, things like that. Number 13, who were your adversaries and friends, and what role did everyone in the dream play? Very important. Number 14, anything you should have avoided or should have done that you didn't do. Number 15, did your dream mirror or relate to any other dream that you had? Any similar sequences that probably happened in another dream? Same people, same setting in another dream that you had? Some dreams can come in series, and God could be communicating the same message or theme in different ways for you to understand and receive it. So the Lord can give you different kinds of dreams, but it'll have the same message behind it, because he's basically just trying to get to your heart from different angles. He just wants you to receive what he's telling you, like Joseph's dreams. The Lord had shown Joseph the same thing about him eventually reaching a place of authority, and his brethren and his parents bowing down to him. But it was two separate dreams, but they both meant the same thing, basically. So, and sometimes they could serve as puzzle pieces as well. So if you definitely have any dreams that mirror each other, I would write both of them down, and I would draw out and conclude what those two dreams had in common, because that's the main thing, because that's confirmation. If he shows you two of the same messages or two of the same things taking place in two different dreams, that's what he wants you to focus on. The things that one dream may have in it that the other dream didn't have in it are just puzzle pieces to the whole message of what he's trying to tell you. But anything that was confirmed, definitely going to happen. So that's the guidelines. There's always more dream guidelines. There's whole books and stuff on there, but I don't really use too much of them. Do symbol representations. Symbol representations. What the heck was I talking about? A symbol representation. Okay, I think it's breaking down symbols, so they talked about on there already. Okay, this one, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, application. Woo! Okay, so I actually do a whole separate sheet for that. I call it my instruction sheet. And basically what I do after I've written my whole dream down and I've done the interpretation for that dream, I go back and I write in my choice of ink. I write down simple facts that God may want me to draw from the dream, just to remember. And then if there's any instruction that I conclude from the message that God wanted to give me, I write that in a different color. I call it my instruction page, and it's literally numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So knowledge, how you could apply this method to your dreams and your dream interpretation, because it is a message from the Lord that he's trying to give you. Very important. Knowledge would be the facts and what you drew from the dream and the message that God gave to you. What is he telling you? How to utilize wisdom with what he has revealed to you. Whether it was about somebody or something, maybe something you shouldn't do a certain way concerning your job because God showed you what the consequence would be in a dream if you did that. So once you have that knowledge through that dream, the Lord foreshadowing to you in a cautionary tale form, because I have those dreams. I have a lot of dreams where the Lord shows me how something would play out if I did something a certain way. Use wisdom. How can I use wisdom with what the Lord has revealed to me in this dream to change the outcome? Understanding. Well, that's kind of lays into the interpretation if the Holy Spirit is guiding you with your interpretation anyway. So understanding what the Lord is trying to show you, that would play out into all of the different layers and stuff. And application, which kind of ties in with wisdom. These are all kind of like interchangeable, really. I mean, they're kind of like the same thing a little bit. Because if you're using wisdom, that's going to come in with application, because that is you using wisdom, how you apply based on everything that you just drew from this dream. After everything's interpreted, everything's listed out, scenes are down, you got a good understanding of what the dream was, trying to tell you. Apply using wisdom based on what you understand from what you know, basically. Check phone tabs for each dream. Oh, well, that's just, sorry, that was for me. Check phone tabs. Basically, I have the Holy Spirit speak to me throughout the day. Sometimes he'll reveal a new nugget about a dream, and I'll just write it in my phone. And then I have to write it down later in that actual dream interpretation. Write down your dream mirrors on a separate sheet. I call them dream credits in the back of my dream. I just have a list of dreams that probably have the same stuff going on as this one. Instruction. And that's pretty much it. And up here I have knowledge. Yeah. Wisdom, knowledge of what is true or right, coupled with just judgment as to action, understanding, personal interpretation, and comprehension of the information provided. And basically, I just write in black ink because I'm trying to get rid of these gel pens so that I can buy more. It doesn't make any sense. I just have so many of them, so that you can just ignore that. Don't even pay attention to that. And this is a chart. Oh my God. You don't have to do this. I have a lot of dreams. I have 4 different binders for different purposes and different sets of dreams, and I don't have, I'm not down here yet. Let's say you have like 2 binders full of dreams about your career that God keeps showing you, your ministry or something, and you got like 68 dreams. I just kind of ask the Lord what he wants me to focus on in this season. And I cast lots. I pray in prayer, ask the Lord to be sovereign over the lot. Basically, that's just flipping a coin. Or I actually have a casting lots app. But I just ask the Lord basically to lead me to this chart of which dream he would like me to focus on. And I promise it's always confirmation for whatever he put in my spirit. So he actually does do this. This is just for order, really. More organization. And he'll lead me to a dream to confirm something he told me. Or if I'm still doubting, literally I'll do it. And the Lord will take me to each whatever dream, and it literally will be the same exact message in each and every one of those dreams. But I just kind of set the chart up for that. And basically what this is, these are groups A, B, C, D. What you can do, if it is a coin, let's say you have 2 binders, okay, what does it have to be 2 binders? Okay, let's say that A would be heads, B would be tails. You pray about it, and let's say you landed on heads or something. Okay, so we know that since it's heads, he's going to lead you either from dream 1 to dream 36. Whatever binder that is. Dream 1 to dream 36. Okay. And then I roll a dice, and I have them all separated into 6 columns and 6 rows because there's only 6 dots on a dice. Okay, I'll roll it once. Let's say it says 4 dots. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Group 4. He's gonna lead me to one of these dreams. Second dice, 3. All right, so we're reading Dream 21. That's, you see how easy that was? And then the Lord's gonna speak to you. And then you can start doing all this fun stuff on here and interpreting your dreams and what he wants to reveal to you in that season. That's pretty much it. This is what I do every single day, and it takes hours. This is where all my messages come from, all the revelations, all the good stuff and all that stuff. And this will help you. If I have any more stuff that the Lord teaches me about dreams, I will gladly share them with you. But this is all I have. This is the most amazing freaking chart. I love this chart. I do. It's fun. Dream interpretation is so fun to me. It's fun to know what the Lord is speaking to you about your life. If you don't have that, you don't have any guidance. God bless.